There are moments in human history that vanish without applause. They are not marked by grand speeches or parades, but by footsteps lost in the snow and by whispers carried across saltwater winds. These are the stories of people pushed beyond the limits of endurance, where survival is not a chapter in a book, but a slow, brutal act, repeated across days, months, even years. Today, we step into these forgotten spaces. From the wreck of a ghost ship adrift in the South Atlantic, to a boy who walked out of a desert 1,000 miles from where he disappeared. Each tale is a glimpse into isolation, into human resilience, and into the silence that sometimes follows the most remarkable feats. But first, you just might gain rare fortune if you like and subscribe before this video ends. In the early spring of 1962, a South African cargo vessel named Oliva vanished in the frigid waters off the coast of Tristan da Cunha, one of the most remote inhabited islands in the world. There were no mayday calls. No lifeboats were found. The ship simply vanished into the fog. Nearly a decade later, in 1971, a group of researchers from the Royal Navy were conducting oceanographic surveys in the area when sonar picked up a strange echo. They dove and found a skeleton of steel beneath the waves. Split in half, but intact. Inside, they discovered something chilling. Crew quarters untouched. Mugs still on tables. A phonograph needle hovering mid-song. But not a single body. Only a steel bulkhead door, clawed from the inside. Investigators concluded the ship struck an uncharted reef and broke apart quickly. But locals whispered of a ghost ship that would sometimes appear offshore in the moonlight, glowing faintly, as if still trying to come home. In July of 1986, near the edge of the Atacama Desert in Chile, Border Patrol discovered a boy, barefoot, sunburnt, and delirious. He gave no name, only Yondal numbers and a strange word, avion. Hospital staff pieced together a story that would shock the nation. Days earlier, a small bush plane had crashed in the interior desert, presumed lost with all passengers. Among them, a family of 4. But somehow, the youngest, a 9-year-old named Mateo Alvarez, had survived. No supplies, no water, no map. He had followed the sun by day, the stars by night, walking over 1,000 kilometers before collapsing near civilization. His feet were shredded, his ribs visible through torn skin. And yet he lived. Scientists later calculated he had gone nearly 20 days without consistent water. To this day, he cannot recall how he survived, only that he kept hearing his mother's voice saying, "Keep walking, don't sit down." In 2003, a Russian weather outpost in the Laptev Sea suddenly went dark. The final radio transmission, received by a monitoring station in Yakutsk, was 4 words. "Too many eyes here." A helicopter was dispatched but found only silence. The camp's structures were intact, lights still on, food still warm, but no people. Among the abandoned gear was a journal. Pages were frantic, repetitive. The light watches, the ice moves, I am not alone. To this day, no trace of the 6 scientists has been found. The camp was eventually erased by shifting ice, but some satellite images still show strange heat signatures in the region, inconsistent with weather patterns, and always moving In 1999, divers exploring the wreck of the Bintang Baru, an Indonesian freighter that had sunk years earlier in the Java Sea, found something they couldn't explain. In one of the compartments, where the hull had collapsed but formed an air pocket, they found a man, alive, barely. His name was Surya. According to him, he had been trapped for nearly 47 days. He survived on condensation, small fish that swam into the wreck, and pure luck. But here's the mystery. Records show the Bintang Baru had sunk 4 months earlier, and no one, not even Surya, could explain the time gap. His skin was ghost pale. His eyes avoided light. He never gave interviews. He simply disappeared. After recovery, one diver later said he looked like he had already drowned and been brought back.
The Soviet submarine K-984 was decommissioned in 1981 and towed for scrapping. It never arrived. Thought sunk in a storm, its name faded into obscurity. Until 2015. Fishermen off the coast of Murmansk began reporting strange radio interference. Frequencies blocked by bursts of Morse code, always the same sequence.
SOS 984 alive.
The Russian Navy dismissed it as hoax, but independent analysts traced the signal to a deep trench northeast of Novaya Zemlya. A deep-sea drone was deployed. It found twisted metal and a single light, still blinking, powered by what should have been a long-dead battery. The hull bore scratch marks, both inside and out. The broadcast? It stopped the day after the drone arrived.
In 1974, a group of mountaineers set off to summit Gangkar Puenzum, a sacred and unclimbed peak between Bhutan and Tibet. Only one returned. His name was Dr. Charles Neely, a glaciologist with no prior climbing experience. He staggered into a monastery weeks later, frostbitten and silent. When asked what had happened, he only said, "The mountain didn't want us." Years later, a Sherpa expedition found remnants of the team's camp and a camera sealed in wax. The photos show clear skies, tents, equipment, and in the final frame, a shadow, impossibly tall, cast across the snow. No person visible, no explanation given. Bhutan banned all attempts to climb the mountain afterward. To this day, it remains officially unclimbed. In 1913, explorers in the Amazon documented something strange, an abandoned greenhouse in the middle of the jungle. Inside were hundreds of botanical samples, some labeled in French. In the corner, a cot, a journal, and a name, Elise Duva. No such botanist appears in scientific records, but the journal detailed 3 years of isolation. She had arrived with a research team studying medicinal plants. A landslide wiped out the camp. She alone survived. The final entry, dated 1911. They speak to me now, the plants. I do not dream anymore. I remember Paris, but it fades. I will stay. I am theirs now. No body was ever found. Only vines growing through the walls, and orchids never seen anywhere else. Whether lost in frozen oceans, buried in deserts, or hidden among ancient trees, these people were not heroes carved from legend. They were ordinary, and yet they endured. Some we remember, others vanish into silence, but all remind us that the boundaries of human survival stretch far beyond what textbooks teach. If these stories moved you, share your thoughts in the comments. And if you're ready to venture further into the forgotten, be sure to subscribe. because somewhere out there, another story waits to be found.